On this edition of Motorcycle Experience, our Lightning Bolt project bike gets a completely new tail section. While at the midway point, our 25th anniversary Goldwing gets the thumbs up from the folks back at the head office. Then in South Dakota, we discover that Spearfish Creek has contributed to the creation of a fabulous road before we load up the truck and get dressed for success. As Motovan presents Motorcycle Experience. Hello and welcome to Motorcycle Experience, the voice of motorcyclists everywhere. I'm Dave Hatchin. This week we kick off our show by sampling a brand new cruiser from the folks at Harley-Davidson, the Street Glide Special. Behold one of the most popular motorcycles in Harley-Davidson's lineup, the Street Glide Special. Recently, this sparkling beauty underwent a complete overhaul, thanks to what Harley-Davidson called Project Rushmore. Rushmore was a special project that saw company engineers take direct customer feedback and implement as many subtle tweaks and revisions possible without changing the motorcycle's overall heart and soul. The result of this experiment included a bump in the Glide's torque and horsepower. A new hydraulic clutch was added to the 103 block, along with a much beefier front fork. Then there's the new ABS-assisted linked braking system, the revised fairing, saddle, and hard luggage, complete with a really cool one-touch latch system, and a totally cool touchscreen infotainment center. Pretty much everything has been breathed on, and yet from a distance it still looks like a Street Glide. So how do all the customer-suggested nips and tucks work? Well, here's a longtime viewer and one of the OPP's finest, Anna Hickey. So Annie, what was your first impression when we rolled this out of the trailer this morning?
My first impression, honestly, was wow. Of course, instantly, the color. The color just grabs people instantly, especially me because I'm an orange fan. Very, very impressive paint job. And just the style of the bike, I'm instantly drawn to it. And honestly, I've never really been a Harley fan, shall we say, but today has definitely changed my attitude.
Now Annie, you ride a big Suzuki Boulevard 1500cc V-twin. What did you think of this new 103 cubic inch Harley?
Excellent, very smooth, very powerful.
Yeah.
I was totally surprised at the difference going from first into second. Very powerful, but very, very comfortable, very easy to handle. I was very impressed. The sound, I thought, it's a great level. At first I thought that it would be too loud, because normally I find Harleys too loud. But I can honestly say that this level of noise was perfect. It wasn't overly excessive. Very nice.
New braking system, ABS, linked brakes. How did you find it managing the stops?
The braking was easy. It was comfortable. I felt safe using the brakes. They worked very well.
Yep. How about the riding position? Just tell us what it's like to ride it in terms of the overall fit to you, the comfort, the wind protection.
The first thing I definitely noticed was the wind protection. This front manufacturer style, I would really like that in a very windy day, or if we're riding into rain. It's very well done. As far as comfortable sitting on this bike, it's a different feel from the Suzuki Boulevard. Very comfortable. Nice reach to the handlebars. It's just an easy bike to enjoy and to maneuver from a female perspective.
Now, the big thing with Rushmore is they've brought out this boombox entertainment system. What did you think of just the whole instrument cluster and being able to get the information you need?
Very nicely designed. I like the size of the screen, the width and the height of the screen it's nice. It's easy to read. Being able to jump through GPS and radio with the toggle switch here.
Yeah.
That was easy to get into using that. Easy to adjust while you're on the fly. I like that everything is right there, right in front of your line of sight, so you're not distracted.
Yeah.
Very safe, very efficient, and excellent sound.
How'd you feel about the level of fit, finish, just the paint, the chrome?
Well, that's easy to answer. The color, it definitely is eye-catching for me, and I think for the general public. The color is excellent. The sparkle, what can I say? It's a beautiful, sexy bike.
What did you think of the one-touch bags? What did you think of the bag system?
Oh, I love it. I totally love it. It's easy. It looks professional. It looks classy. You can do lots of shopping.
So who is this bike going to appeal to? Who would you recommend it to?
Well, I think this bike would appeal to women my age or men my age that are into cruising because of the style, the look. It's comfortable. It's well made. I think there's a wide range of people that would be attracted to this bike. I now am a Harley girl.
Okay, get the Joe Rocket on, get the Harley wear on. Well, you did a great job, Amy.
Thank you for including me today.
Yeah, thanks for coming out. Hang in there. We've got plenty more experience still ahead. Next, Norm and I explore Spearfish Canyon in South Dakota, while our world-famous airbrush artist David Arrigo gets 2 thumbs up. Stay with us. Portions of Motorcycle Experience are brought to you in part by Harley-Davidson, BMW Motorrad, and Triumph Motorcycles. Closed captioning of this program is brought to you by Honda Canada. Welcome back as Motovan presents The Experience. I'm Dave Hatch, and it's time now to look in on the progress of our special 25th anniversary Goldwing F6B. But before we do that, let's check in with this week's ultimate ride. Today, Norm and I are in Spearfish Canyon. For this year's two-wheeled getaway, Norm Wells and myself have been exploring South Dakota. Our base of operation on this trip was the outlaw town of Deadwood. And after a government shutdown spoiled our sightseeing plans, we moved on to Plan B, which, as it's turning out, isn't such a bad option, as the roads in this area are spectacular. But you don't have to take my word for it. Back in 1935, Frank Lloyd Wright later called this area unique and unparalleled elsewhere in the USA. Even better than the Grand Canyon. Well, Norm, it's late morning and here we are in Spearfish, South Dakota. And when you look at the map, you know, Deadwood is not too far as the crow flies. If we had taken 90, we could have got here a lot quicker, but we decided this morning to take the scenic route.
14A, Spearfish Canyon Scenic Byway. And when they told us it was going to be a pretty cool trip, nobody was misleading us on that one.
Yeah, it was a great road. Not a long road, 22 miles, but man, we had a little bit of everything, but my major impression was we were riding through a canyon.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we came in from the forested side of the Black Hills on the west side of Deadwood, and then just started going north, and then all of a sudden we started seeing those big rock faces, and we're at 5,000 feet. You thought you were at sea level, but we're at 5,000 feet, which means, you know, we're probably 7,000 foot peaks that we were going through there.
And it was a lot of places to pull over and take photographs, very scenic, some falls, and heck, did you even see the ATV caravan?
The convoy that came through, I don't know how many there were, I didn't count them all, but you would never see that in Canada. This is a major road here that we're talking about, and there's all these guys scooting down the highway on the ATVs. Yeah,
it was a great road, a fantastic ride. Spearfish, I'm curious, do you know where that name comes from?
Yeah, I looked that up, and it came from the Aboriginals of the time, of the 1800s, or maybe even earlier, but this is an area that they used to fish in, and they would spearfish. So they named it this area Spearfish. So when it was developed in the 1800s, 1876 area, they kept the name.
Right on. So the destination from here now, heading towards lunch, we're going to move on into, I see we're going to cross the border and we're going to move into Wyoming.
Sundance, Wyoming, and at Sundance, that's where we're going to take the main highway here for a little bit. But in Sundance, we're going to get off the highway again and get back onto the smaller roads and make our way to the Devil's Tower.
Perfect. All right, well, it's certainly warming up. It was a little chilly there earlier this morning, but it feels a little better now.
Much better.
I'd have to say that was one of the top roads we've ever ridden, very scenic. And from here on, Devil's Tower, another ultimate ride.
See you there.
Be sure to tune in next week as we continue to make notes in our Ultimate Riding Tour diary. Anyway, it's time now to check in on the progress of our 25th anniversary Goldwing F6B. This week, some folks from Honda Canada are stopping by to check out the paint job. To mark our 25th anniversary, earlier this year we approached a super talented airbrush artist, David Arrigo, and asked him to create for us a very special coast-to-coast Honda Goldwing F6B. David said yes and even offered to complete the task in front of a live audience at this year's Toronto Motorcycle Show. During the weekend, show goers stopped by to watch David work and ask him questions about his vision for the paint job. One of those visitors was Honda Canada's very own Nick Schmiernud.
I'm blown away. The talent in this guy is incredible. I'd heard he's Canada's premier airbrush artist, and when you actually see him work and you see the detail that he's putting into this, it's brilliant. I'm very impressed. We've done some custom jobs where we'll modify things, and sometimes we'll paint in a solid color, but or some stripes, but nothing like this. Not with the kind of detail that we're seeing from David, and not with the emotion that you can bring out of the painting on the bike. So the Goldwing F6B is a perfect bike for this kind of project. It's a beautiful machine. It does look like a blank canvas, right? There's a lot of room for David to work with, and when someone pulls up to an event on an F6B, there's quite a crowd that forms around it, and I imagine it's going to be blocking traffic with the art that's on it now. I suspect this won't be David's last bike project. When people see it, they're going to form a line waiting for him to do some work on their bikes. I've seen some of the examples of the goalie masks that he's done, and some of the other, the cars and items that he's done in the past. And with his eye, he's, I think, going to be the most popular motorcycle artist in Canada. And sorry, goalies, you're going to have to wait your turn.
Right now I'm getting ready to start the trunk portion. The images are going to involve the Honda Civic, as well as the family planting a tree. Honda is very much tied into the environmental side of Canada in the sense that for every car that they sell, they plant a tree, which I think is a great program all around. The reason why I ended up choosing the images that I did, we were directed by Honda to put the Honda Civic on there because it is Canada's #1 selling car, as well as when they had told me that their activations of planting trees every time a car was sold, I thought that was very, very cool. And I thought that should be one of the focal points, if you will. So I chose an image of the grandfather with the nephew and the niece planting the tree. And then, of course, to tie the rest of the bike in, we're going to be having the maple leaves that are coming directly from the front and down the sides of the tank again, across the east-west coast, and onto the top of the trunk. So we're totally going to be a 360 painting here. In all honesty, I look at any piece that I do and I never feel that they're really finished. I can continue, but right now we have a time restraint to some degree, and just going to get this one rolling.
Now keep the rubber side down because there's still plenty more experience around the bend. Next, we look in on Project Lightning Bolt and load up the truck with Canada's #1 riding instructor, Clinton Smout. Welcome back as Motovan presents The Experience. I'm Dave Hatch, and it's time now to catch up with our in-house riding instructor, Clinton Smout. But before we do that, let's head out to Brooklyn Cycle Racing and check in on the progress of our Project Lightning Bolt. Rob, when we were here a couple of weeks ago, you were dealing with the rear wheel and the drive and the axle and getting all that modified, and you really didn't want to look at what was happening up here.
Not too much.
But since I noticed this has now disappeared, our stock saddle and the stock fender tail section. This is also, by the way, a pretty heavy chunk.
Pretty meaty for sure.
And we're trying to lighten the bike. So you've had to deal, this has totally changed since we last saw you.
Exactly. What we're able to do is, as you said, that this was a very busy area. There's all your electronics, your battery, your voltage regulator, all the wiring is in this spot.
Right.
And it's an ugly spot, and it's didn't flow with what we've already created here so far. So what we're able to do is actually we just chop the rear frame section on that used to have the much shorter bolt shock on there, and now we're able to mount a much longer shock, which actually gives us more travel and more availability to be able to tune the suspension and different sizes of shocks and lengths and so on, so we
Right.
can adjust the geometry. So that was just basically the stock piece flipped up, welded on, and voila, we have shock mounts. More R1 parts again. We have a lot of old R1 parts out the back. So this was a bent up piece we had out the back from my 2000s vintage R1.
Yep.
We chopped it up a little bit, used the original mounts there, just drilled the threaded portions out and welded some stubs on there. And we have our rear seat and tail section mount, which actually turned out very nicely. And it was something I wasn't looking forward to.
Right, right.
But it turned out nice. So we have our R1 tail section now, which just fits on there because it's basically a stock piece. Bolts right in nicely, and the saddle, and our rear seat goes there, or our rear cowl, whatever we can find for it. Taillight, everything's done.
Wow, very trick. And it's like you said, you're continuing the flow, that
Exactly.
R1 fork, you're continuing that right through the bike.
Yep.
Very nice. Now, when we started the project, you didn't even want to look at this. You
No.
were so concerned, but it turned
No.
out to be
It
fairly
turned
simple.
out to be quite simple. I thought the front end was going to be simple, not so much. Now, I thought this was going to be tough, but it turned out really nice.
Wow, that's looking great.
Well, Project Lightning Bolt really is coming together, but keep in mind it's down to the wire as Rob only has about a week to get this bike finished, as Yamaha wants to take it on the road with the motorcycle show circuit. In the meantime, let's catch up with our old friend Clinton Smout, Chief Instructor with the SMART programs, and get an invaluable lesson in loading up the pickup truck.
So Clinton, this week on Shifting Gears, we want to talk about transporting your motorcycle. You know, it's become quite popular now to go off to rallies, for instance, and use a trailer, or in some cases, load into the back of your pickup truck. So what are some of the tips you have for folks when it comes to loading a motorcycle into a pickup truck?
Well, first of all, have a good ramp. I remember as a kid, I'd use a 2x10 plank with a nail in the top of it.
Yeah.
Real dumb idea. So
Yeah.
invest $150, you'll get a good ramp where it'll securely bring your bike up and you can walk up beside it.
Okay, so gone are the days of not only the plank, but the days of trying to ride your motorcycle
A
up
little
that
more
plank.
dangerous.
So we're gonna walk it up,
Yes.
obviously with the motorcycle running. Any safety tips in terms of that action?
Well, you're gonna giggle, but I think you should have your helmet on and a pair of gloves.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the ramp comes off the truck if you don't secure it. The bike, you lose balance and you go off the side of this ramp or bed of a truck.
Yeah.
There's been head injuries from loading motorcycles.
Concussions, etc.
Wear a helmet.
All right, so we've got our helmet and gloves on, we've got the motorcycle running, and so we're just walking up beside in first gear?
First gear.
Yep.
And then clutch it. You don't need full power.
Yeah,
Keep it lean towards you onto your left.
Yeah.
You don't want it to fall away to the right.
yeah.
And you want some momentum going up. So you don't want to have to stop on that ramp. Because now, are we going to stall and fall? Am I going to light up the back tire and lose traction?
Right, okay.
Once I get it into the bed of the truck, pull the clutch in, hit the kill switch, leave it in gear, and then we'll do the tie downs.
Right, now tie downs. We're not using cheap ones, invest in some good ones.
Think of what you spent on your bike, Dave.
Right.
Like if you can get 9 of them for $9, don't. Spend some money, get the good ratchet strap,
Yeah,
and then once you have it secured at the 45-degree angle, tie off the remaining strap. Because I have had them come undone, and I've dragged bikes on a trailer, for instance, up a road.
right,
And what's flapping is going to wreck your paint.
okay. And am I using 2 or 4?
4 straps.
4
2 at the
straps.
front, 2 at the back.
Perfect. Some great advice there on how to secure your motorcycle in your pickup truck.
Excellent.
Thanks, man.
My pleasure.
Stay tuned. Next, we get all dressed for success.
Portions of Motorcycle Experience are brought to you in part by Harley Davidson, BMW Motorrad, and Triumph Motorcycles. Welcome back as Motovan presents The Experience. I'm Dave Hatch, and let's wrap up the show now by spending a few minutes with Georgian College's chief riding instructor, Jennifer Martin. This week she wants to make sure you're appropriately dressed when you hit the road.
You know, Jen, back in the day when I started riding, you had one choice for a jacket. Leather, black, men's. That was it. That's all we had. Now, I mean, standing here, it's soup to nuts. It's men, it's women, it's leather, it's textile. It's amazing the choices we have.
It is. It's come a long way, and what's great about it is there is gear specifically designed for women as well to fit women, which is wonderful for me to hear.
Yeah.
We have all different material choices now. You have your leather and your textiles, and the same applies for the jacket as it does to the pants. So it's important to invest in a good riding outfit for sure.
Right, and we still have the chaps, the good old standby, they're still there.
Wear pants underneath,
But with all the choices now, you know, this textile jacket, many of them have zip out linings, liners, which allow you to sort of start out in the morning when it's cool, zip it out halfway through your day, put it back in for the evening.
That's right.
This particular jacket is awesome. It's got the venting, it's got the armor, it's also got rainproof, zip out rainproof liner and a warm liner. I mean, this thing covers it all, right?
Yeah, and it's great because you can start off, as you said, at the beginning of your day, you know, all layered up, and you can start removing layers, and it's all in the same jacket.
Right. This one, they even go so far as to give you a spot for your cell phone or your audio listening device.
Yes.
And what, headphones?
Yeah, it comes out there, and you can get your headphones.
They think of everything these days.
They do.
What is the key, though, if you're going to go to a retailer and start talking about clothing? Obviously, we want it to fit tight enough that it's not flapping around when we're out on the road. But is there anything else in terms of fitment?
Well, you want to make sure that it fits you properly when you're seated on the motorcycle. And I know a lot of retailers out there, like this jacket specifically, is designed for that riding position. The jacket that fits you as you're standing here is not necessarily going to fit you properly when you're seated on the motorcycle with regards to your sleeve length or your pant length.
Right. Would you consider earplugs wardrobe?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. If you even if you have a full face, full coverage helmet, you definitely want to invest in a pair of earplugs, and you can go and get fitted for your own, like that fit you exactly.
Right.
And that's important because when we're riding, you don't want any distractions on the road, and that white noise that will cause fatigue over time, as well as hearing loss, and we don't want that. Right. So you want to help prolong your ride. Be aware, and definitely make sure that you invest in a good pair.
Awesome. So again, it's a sport. Get yourself some good gear. It's going to last forever.
That's right.
And get ready to hit the road.
Excellent.
Nice. Well, that's it for this week's show. But if you're looking for more experience, be sure to go to motorcycleexperience.ca right now and check out the after show. Be sure to join the Riders Club and enter our new contest. So till next week, keep your feet on the pegs and your right hand cranked. Bye for now.
Closed captioning of this program was brought to you by Honda Canada.
Hi, my name is Sheldon Smay. I'm from Toronto. I was on the show Motorcycle Experience in 2005, and I'd like to congratulate Dave Hatch, the entire crew of Motorcycle Experience, and the show itself on 25 successful years.